This and footage of my father assaulting me. It happened on the day I exited and exposed the Parentified child program. And observe carefully. This is how narcissists react when they lose control. This is proof they are not family, they are predators. Today, I am going to teach you the precise steps to exit the program. If you have not watched the previous video explaining how psychopathic parents train their children to become their soldiers, go back and watch it. It is fundamental to understanding the pattern. The parentalized child is someone who reversed roles with their caregivers. They stopped being a child. They stopped being cared for. Slowly but surely, they assumed a different role within the family system. A mental structure is successfully installed, one similar to slavery. But that is not a slave who requires commands or punishment. This one operates autonomously, always defending, always protecting, always serving the very people who were supposed to protect them. The child became a soldier. This dynamic is profoundly toxic. It forces the victim to extinguish their own vital force for others, in direct opposition to their own needs. The emotional pain generated by this process is immense. And here's the paradox. The pain is the exit. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the alarm system. It signals that something is structurally wrong. It mobilizes energy for investigation and change. Pain should not be anesthetized. It should not be gaslighted. We were told that the more you give, the more you receive. This is false. Human relationships often follow a simple economic principle, the law of supply and demand. What is permanently available becomes consumed. When your availability is 100%, demand drops to zero. The parentalized child, whether still young or already an adult, is always available, and therefore taken for granted. When you donate your time, loyalty, and energy without price, and are then treated like garbage, the shock feels personal. But the programming is invisible. The belief system is invisible. The disrespect is not. Being good and endlessly accessible leads to one predictable outcome: becoming a victim. Chronic disrespect, repeated aggression, and confusion about why it happens. Human beings instinctively value what they must invest in, what they fear losing, and what is costly. And the parentified children is none. If you want to reclaim power, you must stop being cheap, accessible, and permanently available. If you are tired of pain and disrespect, you are ready. If you are not tired, stay away from this video. You will probably continue on the path of self-destruction. Your pain must go on until it becomes fuel. There are 3 steps to exit abusive control: emotional detachment, strategic absence, self-focus. First, the emotional cut. Without emotional detachment, you cannot say no. For parentalized children, this cut should happen as early as possible to prevent further psychological damage and social difficulties. It means disengaging from daily parental dramas. It means no longer sharing your plans, your future, your friendships. It means withdrawing emotional availability, and it requires installing a radical truth. Loyalty cannot be linked to family ties. It can only be linked to reciprocity and respect. Family is not the most important thing. You are. Family exists only where there is respect. Your time and energy belong exclusively to those who value you, respect, and also are loyal to you. Repeat that as many times as necessary. Your relationships must operate on mutual respect. The most healthy word in the world is no. When you stop performing their tasks, they will begin asking you to resume them. Your response must be simple: I can't. No explanations, no justifications. Consistency and patience are critical. You are training former captors, former parasites. Keep repeating the no. Keep increasing your absence. Next comes guilt induction. They may call you selfish. They may escalate emotionally. They may shout. Do not react. Observe. Collect evidence. Pay attention. Now they are exposing themselves. When manipulation attempts to trigger guilt, the emotional cut must already be in place. Otherwise, guilt will consume you. If you withstand it, the abuser will either retreat or escalate. Escalation may include isolation attempts or physical aggression if they perceive you as no longer useful. This is real risk. I experienced physical retaliation. Therefore, you must play strategically. Maintain minimal surface-level kindness. Appear courteous. If necessary, hold their hand. Offer neutral comfort, simulate empathy, but continue to say, "I'm sorry, I can't." Withdraw emotionally, reduce presence, miss calls occasionally, apologize lightly when answering. Internally, you are not there, you cannot be. Your entire psychological structure must operate like a shield, blocking rage, blocking guilt. For victims dependent on abusive adults, this phase is extremely difficult. Once emotional detachment occurs, the abuser becomes unmistakably visible. The dynamic becomes unsustainable. At this stage, never confront directly, never announce your internal exit. Exposure too early can trigger physical danger. Survival comes first. Let them believe you remain entangled. Simulate presence, simulate understanding, smile and wave, stay in the shadows, accumulate leverage. You may not be able to leave physically immediately. Emotional detachment is the prerequisite for physical departure. Use that space to build power, financial, social, strategic. Diversify your social network quietly. Never reveal your plans, never reveal your evidence, never reveal your advantage. You are operating on terrain tilted against you. Precision matters. The good soldier has immense power when fighting for others. That power made them valuable. But after years of directing energy outward, they no longer know how to deploy it inward. You must retrain your power to serve you. Self-focus is not selfishness, it is survival. Daily acts of self-care are not indulgence, they are structural repair. In this phase, avoid spiritualized self-help narratives that encourage transcendence, forgiveness, or bypassing pain. That often redirects focus outward and anesthetizes necessary anger and vital energy. You do not need anesthesia, you need clarity, you need to be your protector. This time, you will have someone to show up and love you. That person is you. Do not waste energy excusing abusers. Do not drown in fantasy or guilt. You must become your own caregiver, your own guardian, your own rescuer. No one is coming. If you remain exposed, they will attempt further isolation. They will try make others doubt your character, try to cut every support they know about. Keep them in the dark. They don't know you. Be intelligent, be patient, be silent, be focused. This is the fight of your life. When you have gathered sufficient power, evidence, and support, leave. Seek official help if needed. Use documented proof. In most countries, there are formal reporting channels for child abuse and domestic violence. Use them. In my case, I was able to build healthy emotional bonds outside the abusive circle. Public exposure of documented aggression brought the abuse into the light. I exposed them. Having other relationships besides abusers is absolutely precious. They play a huge role in healing and adjusting to a healthy life and day-to-day. In future episodes, I will explain how to build meaningful relationships and how to protect them from being sabotaged by abusers. Healthy relationships become the new terrain for prosperity and to ascend to higher form of existence. They become the foundation for a life built on respect and balance. Do not allow isolation. Living exclusively for your abusers is not love, it is predation. Never accept that. Act today. Be safe. Be strategic. I would value hearing your thoughts. See you in the next chapter of my life. Yours truly, Artemisia.